What's going on, Bills fans? This is Bills Latest. Again, we are brought to you by Fanark, and he's back in the news. He's back in the news. Again, it's getting floated. A.J. Brown, looking like he might cost a first and a second round if the Bills wanted him. That's the latest little rumor. How true is this? How true is this? Because if it's just a first, this year's first, which I don't think this year's first is a great pick. It's a crapshoot on who you get with the 26th pick and a second round pick for next year. I'm doing that. I'm doing that in a heartbeat. I'm saying, where do I sign up? I don't know how real it is. But if it's real, that would put Bean back in GM of the Year award from bust to boom. We just got to figure out, because the way it looks with A.J. Brown, it's still kind of in the news cycle. Maybe every other day when they're talking NFL on ESPN, or pretty much every day if they're on the NFL Network, they're bringing up A.J. Brown, and something could happen before the draft, maybe even after the draft, if the Eagles were to snag a wide receiver that they like. Man, but if it can't, for the Bills, it can't happen after the draft. They would need to move before the draft to give up this 26th and a second round next year. And again, if I'm Bean and I'm Allen and I'm Buffalo fans, I want win now. Chase the Super Bowl now. Make a statement now. I don't want to gamble. I don't want to gamble on somebody in the draft when, again, I think this team is, call it 85% of the way built, championship built. Just needs a little few pieces sprinkled in. And that's why I just think go get that 15% that you know does what you need. A.J. Brown does what you need. And then some. There's no A.J. Brown wide receiver. Maybe Carnell Tate. Again, you don't know how. There are some wide receivers this year that would not be available at 26, but have the potential to be number one wide receivers. But again, you don't know. That's if everything pans out. A.J. Brown gets yards. He's good for pretty much 1,000 a year. He had a down year last year and still had almost 80 catches, 1,000 yards, and 7 or 8 TDs. I just think you got to go now. Because, again, this window is so short for a Super Bowl window. You have a lot of pieces in place. And it seems more and more like the Eagles are willing to move from Brown. That rumor just stays out there. And that rumor is either coming from his agent, from the front office of Philly, saying that, hey, this guy is still available. And maybe that's why a lot of these guys haven't moved on to a Juwan Jennings, a Debo, or any of those guys that are reliable wide receivers, because they know A.J. Brown is still out there. The guys who want a wide receiver, the teams that want a wide receiver, know Brown is still out there. The Rams already tried. They're out on A.J. Brown. But there will definitely be other teams that want A.J. Brown. But he's already said the Bills are among teams he'd consider. It was them, the Patriots, and I forget the other ones. But with the Patriots, I don't know, Vrabel's a bit of a mess. We'd love to see that as Bills fans. We still don't know if that was real or not. If anything actually nefarious went on. I don't really care. But still, Bills fans, anytime a little drama gets sent New England's way, we're not mad. Get them a little rattled, get them off of football. We like that as Bills fans. But that was the only other real potential landing spot for A.J. Brown was in New England. and that's because of Rabel. But I don't know, man. Again, if it only cost you this year's first round, which to me isn't the best first round pick you can have, it's one of the worst first round picks you can have, and then a second round next year, he's worth it. He's worth it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And you know why I'm doing it? Could you imagine AJ Brown, DJ Moore, Shakir, Cook, and Allen? Yeah, well, full disclosure, didn't have room here in the bottom headline, or I could have put Kincaid in there too, and Knox. Talk about weapons. Now you're up there with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. You're better than those guys. You got a better running back, better tight ends. Jamar Chase is still the best wide receiver out of that group, but A.J. Brown is definitely the second best. T. Higgins is not better than A.J. Brown. You're starting to get up there with the Rams, with Nakua, Devontae Adams. What are you going to do, defenses? If the Bills somehow pull off A.J. Brown, in addition to Moore, that makes the Moore second round pick look a hell of a lot better, and probably sit with the franchise, with the front office a lot better too, because that's starting to look like value at that point. But if you got Brown, Moore, Shakir, Cook, Allen, Knox, Kincaid, I don't know, man. I don't know. And again, if it's just going to take those couple picks and maybe like a Keon Coleman, I'm doing it all day. How is the defense going to stop that offense? I know A.J. Brown will be able to get open. And I know Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts, and we'll find him way more often. A.J. Brown would be Stephon Diggs times 2. Because AJ can run all the routes. And if he's running all the routes and he's getting doubled, well, what about Moore? What about Shakir, who is not a number 3? He is a number 2 in this league. But if Brown were to come over, he just naturally moves to where he belongs, in the slot, and he will just flourish because he won't be double covered. Moore won't be double covered. Knox won't be double covered. What about Cook out of the backfield? Again, Cook hammered down this past year. His body's going to need a bit of a break. So if you can work the passing game in more and almost get him less touches, he's probably going to be better. He's probably going to be better. So I just, again, like, if you're a defense, what are you doing? Who are you guarding? And at what cost? Because let's say you play it absolutely perfect and you got Brown, Moore, Shakir, even Cook, and not all guarded, all locked up on defense. Chances are Josh just ran for 12. Maybe 15. He might have ran over somebody in your secondary and took it to the house. Because if he can get to the point where he's running as almost, it always is his last option, but in this case, this last option is gold because everybody's going to be covered downfield. It's not like the pressure is going to be on him, or else he would have got rid of the football and found one of these guys. He'll have even bigger runs. Even bigger runs. How are you going to stop them if A.J. Brown were to potentially come to this offense? I don't know. And that would be something to see. And if you go that route, that means you're definitely out on Dexter Lawrence. But there's other players out there, man. They're in the third round right now. It's projected you could get Deontay Lawson out of Alabama. He was a 2-time captain. linebacker. You need a linebacker. 6'2", 230. The part I like about him, two-time captain. Knows how to put the work in, knows how to pay attention to detail. That's the only way you become a captain in Alabama. They're all talented. Every kid on that roster is talented. But to be a two-time captain on the defensive side of the football at a very important position, and you could snag him in the 3rd round on the cheap. We got Bradley Chubb. We got Gardner Johnson. We got some pieces. If you're rebuilding anything, it should be that defense. This is a good candidate. You know he's going to show up and put the work in. He's going to learn the defense. Even if he's not a starter right away, he plays 50% of the snaps. That's still huge. I think they can hit hard in the 3rd and the later rounds, that defensive side of the football. But now we're getting closer and closer to the drama ending of the draft and seeing where these teams kind of finally settle on and what their roster is going to actually look like come start of next season. It'll be interesting to see what they do. It'll be very interesting to see what they do. And I'm kind of curious as far as Bills fans. Yay or nay, the A.J. Brown scenario? I feel like I'm back and forth every single day. But I have been preaching I'm more offense than defense. I think the offense can take over a game quicker. A.J. Brown's going to touch the ball 10 times a game. You're not going to get 10 sacks a game. You're lucky to get 1 or 2. You'll get some pressures. We'll see. I again, kind of what I was just talking about. I just don't know how you would stop that team, that offense, if A.J. Brown were to be in the picture. I just don't know how you could stop it. And if you're going toe-to-toe with Mahomes and Burrow and things like that, yeah, you need a defense. But you also need an offense. If you can't put up points against those teams, good luck. Good luck. But that has been it for today's Bills Latest. Again, let me know how you guys feel about the A.J. Brown stuff down below in the comment section. Hit that like and subscribe button down below. It means so much to us. We're trying to get to 50 subs here soon. And again, we're brought to you by FanArc, and we'll be back next week with some more content for you guys. Thank you so much.